All right, everybody, so we're going to continue on from yesterday. So again, yesterday we analyzed the prompt. So tell about a time when you went on a trip with your family. So we remember that this is going to be a story about me and my family, and it's just going to be about one time. Okay, so you should have yesterday created a map about the different trips that you have taken, and I came up with that I'm going to be writing my essay about the trip that I took to Bishop. And then for my circle map that I created about the trip to Bishop yesterday, I am going to be focusing on 3 things specifically. I put a lot of things in my circle map, but the 3 that I circled, and you should have circled 3 on yours as well, but the 3 that I'm going to focus on are hiking, fishing, and the campfire. So we're going to go ahead and set up our flea map today. Again, this is called a flea map. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're just going to take our 1, 2, and 3 from our circle map, and we are going to first put them into our flea map. Okay, so right kind of in the middle of the paper, I'm going to put hiking. Okay, I'm going to write it, and then I'm going to draw a box around it. Okay, my second idea is I'm going to talk about fishing. And my third idea that I selected off of my circle map is going to be the campfire. So I'm going to write campfire. So again, these 3 ideas should have been picked out from yesterday. You're thinking about these are the 3 that have the most details that you'll be able to talk about for your writing. Okay, so this is the beginning to our flea map. What we're going to do now is we are going to put details underneath each of these. So I kind of wrote some details on my circle map from yesterday. So I'm going to continue writing some of those. And I might add some more details as well. So I know that yesterday when I was talking about hiking, one of the things was that on our hike we saw a waterfall. Okay. Also on the waterfall we saw really beautiful flowers. Okay, you'll notice that I am not writing complete sentences. They're just like bullet points. We also saw deer tracks on the hike. Let's see what else. There were thick leaves. And it ended up being, as I said yesterday, 10 miles. And that's because we got lost. So I'm going to put kind of in parentheses, it's because we got lost. So you'll have to wait to hear about that. All right, so some of the details for fishing. Okay, so we were in a boat. It was actually, I'm going to be a little bit more specific. It was a small aluminum boat. Another thing was I'm going to tell you about our secret spot. Okay, I'm also going to talk about my fishing pole. I'm going to talk about who caught the first fish. And then I'm going to talk about who caught the biggest fish. So remember, under each of your ideas, you want to try to put as many details that relate to that idea as possible, because that's going to give you the most sentences. I would probably say about 3 to 5 is good when we're thinking of ideas. But again, if you can think of more, then that's awesome. But I would say at least 3 to 5, and no less than 3. And then for the campfire, also I just remembered one too. For hiking, we had to wake up super early. Okay, so it's okay to kind of go back and forth and keep kind of adding. And I was looking at my circle map from yesterday and I saw wake up early. So we had to wake up really early. All right, and then for the campfire, I'm gonna put we sang songs. Let's see, we had a roaring fire going. I had s'mores, had a little bit too many of them. And let's see, we did listen to music, but I'll probably put that in the singing songs part. So, and I'm just gonna put a little side note, so like didn't feel well. Okay, so make sure that you fill out your 3 things and that you have details to go under each of them. Remember that these 3 things do not, all of the details do not have complete sentences. This is just a thinking map. So this portion of it does not have to be in complete sentences, and we are going to be fixing it along the way. Also, when you write these, you kind of want to write them in order. So like in the morning is when we went hiking, later in the day we went fishing, and then in the evening we had our campfire. So I'm doing it in order, like this happened first, second, and third type of thing, okay? But we're not going to use the first, second, and third for our transition words because we're going to use higher vocabulary words. All right, so next we're going to start working on our introduction. So our introduction or our opening paragraph is extremely important, okay? And the thing that I want you to remember in our introduction, we want to include who, did what, when, and why. Okay, so those are the things that we're going to include in our introduction paragraph. Typically in 3rd grade, this is going to be at least 2 sentences. Okay, so it needs to be no less than 2 sentences. If you want to write 3 or 4 sentences, that's fine, but let's just go ahead and we're going to start off with 2 sentences. Okay, and I'm going to kind of show you, so when we're writing we need to include who. So our essay topic, it was about a trip with you and your family, so the who is going to be you and your family. The did what, so what did you do? So in mine we went camping. Maybe yours you went to the beach, or you went to Legoland, or what did you do? When did you do it? So did you do it in the summertime? Did you do it in the fall? Did you do it last Christmas? Okay, and why did you do it? Okay, the why sometimes gets students, but it's just why did you guys decide to go to Legoland? Okay, why did you decide to go camping or to the beach? Okay, so I'm going to show you an example. So I'm going to go ahead and write mine. So my introduction would look something like this. And remember, if it's not perfect, we can always fix it later. But I would put something like one hot fall day in Bishop. So I'm not going to put that comma there. I'm just going to cross it out. Now I'll put a comma. My family and I went camping. Okay, so this right here covers a lot of the who, did what, and when, but it doesn't cover the why. So who, so that's my family and I. Did what, we went camping, and when, one hot fall day. Okay, we could also put a where, that would be in Bishop. Okay, so I'm going to continue on because I need to explain that why. So it was our first family trip to Bishop, and was highly recommended by our neighbors as their favorite camping spot. Favorite camping place, we'll put. Okay, so now I have my why. The reason we went there was because it was recommended by our neighbors as their favorite camping place. Okay, so now what we're gonna do is you're gonna go ahead and create a box around it. Okay, again, we don't create the box first because we want all of our information to fit in it, so we always create the box after. Okay, then we're gonna draw an arrow down going to our first box. So if we were to practice, it may sound something like this, because I do want you to practice. Because the more we speak off of the map, the better we're gonna be able to write off of our map. So it might sound like, one hot fall day in Bishop, my family and I went camping. It was our first family trip to Bishop and was highly recommended by our neighbors as their favorite camping place. Then I might start with, early in the morning, we decided to go on a hike. And then I probably, since the waterfall was last, I'm not gonna put that first, but I did put early in the morning, which I'll probably use as my transition instead. But I might write something like, when we were walking through the mountains, the leaves were so thick, it was like walking through snow because they were starting to fall off the trees. Also along our walk, we saw a lot of beautiful colored flowers and deer tracks. Eventually, we came to a waterfall, or I'll put something like a beautiful waterfall, that we ended up staying there for, it was an hour and a half. After looking at the waterfall, we decided to walk back. It was then that we realized we were lost. At this point in time, when we finally arrived back to our camp spot, the hike took 10 miles. Let me tell you, the hike was only supposed to be a 3-mile hike and it took 10 miles, okay? Then I will say later in the day, we decided to go fishing. We hopped on our family's small aluminum boat and headed to our secret spot. I threw in my fishing pole, ready to catch the first fish. However, the fish were apparently not ready to be caught because they were not biting. My mom, on the other hand, was catching fish left and right. She was the one who caught the first fish. It became a kind of competition, and I said that I was going to catch the biggest fish. By the end of the day, or 3 hours later it was, we looked at all the fish we had caught, and I had indeed caught the biggest fish. In the evening, we had a roaring campfire. We decided to have s'mores with marshmallows, chocolate, and graham crackers. We also sang songs and danced around the fire. And I'll probably rearrange that. I'll put, my favorite s'mores are the kind that are actually burnt. I like them when they're crispy and burnt. In total, I had 10 s'mores. They were delicious, but I had a stomach ache. Okay, so again, you're just going to want to practice reading off your map a few times. Was that perfect? No, it was not perfect by any means, but I kind of am getting an idea of what I'm going to write for mine. Okay, so again, we are selecting the reasons and organizing our writing. Okay, so we selected the 3 reasons yesterday, so we're going to write them down. Okay, we're also going to extend with details to clarify what we're going to write. So that's adding the details to our map. And then you are going to be writing your opening sentence that needs to include who, did what, when, and why. Remember, it needs to be at least 2 sentences. Okay, so this is your goal for today, is to complete a flea map, we call it, that looks like this, that has your introduction, it has your first body paragraph, second body paragraph, third body paragraph, and that is it. We will work on the conclusion tomorrow. Okay.